Hello and welcome to Switchbox's brand new show, Talk to the Millions. Today, I have my first ever guest, a good friend of mine who is able to join us on this journey. He needs no introduction, but I'll give him one anyway. He is the co-founder of Swim Dem Crew, a member of the Run Dem Crew, founder of Trap Fruits London, a member of the rap group New Brand Flex, solo artist, man like Peigh.
Wow, that was
Welcome
amazing.
to my show.
Thank you.
How are you feeling, my guy?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be on your new platform. You know, I think it's a long time coming. You know, I think it's a natural fit. So yeah, man, I'm excited to be 0001.
I appreciate it so much, bro. So before we get into any questions and stuff, I wanted to say if you wanted to say anything about yourself that maybe I might not be able to cover or anything like that.
No,
just give the audience a bit about yourself before we get into the nitty gritty, I guess.
Yeah, I think you've done it. I think you set it up perfectly. I think you know, yeah, I'm probably a man that likes to do quite a lot of different things. You know,
Definitely.
I think it keeps me interested. It keeps me on my toes. You know, and I don't get bored too easily. You know, so it's just like lots of different creative things going on that kind of that's what keeps me going. You know, that's what keeps me alive and motivated. Yeah,
literally. So I've known you since I was 17 years old.
Yeah.
And you've been a massive inspiration to me.
Wow.
So that's obviously why I had to get you on the show first things first. We ended up meeting each other at Run Dem Crew.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So what I wanted to do is deep dive into that a little bit. I wanted to know how you ended up joining Run Dem, who you met first, what was your first run like, and just explain what the experience of Run Dem was for you.
Okay. How long have you got?
I got forever for you, bro. That's all I know.
So as you mentioned, I was part of a music crew in New Brand Flex. I was lucky enough to have signed a music publishing contract when I came out of university. So what that meant is that I was just writing, recording, and touring for 2 years, right? And we had 2 studios. We had one in Parsons Green, but then why I'm mentioning this story is because it's about our second studio, which we had in Shoreditch on Curtin Road. Which is not too far from where Run Dem meet, Bayman's Road, right? Yeah. And so I was coming out of the studio and I bumped into a friend, Radha, who is, she's an amazing music manager. You know, she looks after Skepta, Mabel, all of these people. She's amazing. Anyway, she said to me, oh, like, P, what you doing? I was like, come out of the studio. She's like, oh, you should come for a run. You should come running. I was like, what? She was like, okay, I'll meet you here after studio, because the studio is literally like a stone's throw away from where Run Dem met, right? So she was like, I'll meet you here 7:30, whatever. So I met and then went to Run Dem. My first run, I remember, we ran to Elephant and Castle.
Wow, from Shoreditch.
Yeah, and you got to remember, I'm from South London, so that's a big deal. Elephant Castle is like, is a landmark to me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, they recently got rid of the elephant, right? Gentrification and everything, and I cried a tear, you know? And it's like, when I ran to Elephant and Castle and back, I text every single person in my phone book.
You felt proud, yeah?
Yeah, hands on my heart. I text everyone, anyone that would listen to me. I was like, do you know I just ran from Shoreditch to Elephant and Castle and back?
It's a great feeling, isn't it, bro?
And that was it. From that day, I was hooked.
That's so amazing, bro.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah.
I would like to go into a little bit of detail. So the leader of Run Dem is obviously Charlie Dark, which we both know very well.
Yeah.
If we could go into the impact that he has had on you, and that's going to lead on to my next question as well. So the impact of Charlie Dark in your life.
Yeah, I think a massive one. I think Charlie Dark has a massive impact on my life, just because I could see some similarities in myself in him, you know, because he had done music before he'd got into movement, you know. He had done music, and you know, he'd been on a record contract. It didn't quite work out, and then you go through this thing of like self-discovery. Who am I? Like, I've done this thing for like 7 years or whatever, 8 years, and it's like, okay, well, who am I outside of this thing? And then you kind of go on this journey of self-discovery, right? And I'm running and all of that, and I think I did the exact same thing. Like, it didn't work out with the music, and I was like, okay, who is P outside of, you know, I've been doing music with these boys since I was like 16, 17.
I know, yeah.
I was like 25 at the time. And I was like, okay, who is Peigh outside of this, you know? And I had to go on a little journey of self-discovery myself. And luckily I found Run Dem and Run In and Charlie Dark. So yeah, big thing. You know, I always look at him and be like, oh, okay, there's a lot of similarities. So I hold him in high regards.
That's so amazing. So
yeah.
When I joined, I was 17. I ended up seeing you around the building when you was there and so on. But I didn't really get to introduce myself to you until I was told by Ellie to go and join Swim Dem and learn how to swim.
Yeah.
So Swim Dem Crew was around before we started the swim challenge.
Yeah.
What we're gonna do right now is we're gonna go into how did you and Nathaniel and was it Emily?
Yeah, Emily. Yeah.
Decided to create this this whole movement, and it was obviously you three at first, but what it's grown to is amazing. I would like you to just say what made you become a co-founder of Swim Dem at that point.
Amazing question. And I think, look, we just spoke about the impact of Charlie Dark and the impact of Run Dem Crew in our lives, right? So I think just moving our bodies in that way was just a big part of our life. And so much so that I actually, there was a girl that used to run with us called Alex Stapleforth. And one of her parents had cancer. So she was running to raise money, right? So she said, I'm gonna run a half marathon every single month. Wow. And I said, you know what, Alex, I'm gonna do that with you. So I joined her, and every single month we done a half marathon together, right? Sometimes we do it together, sometimes we do it separately, sometimes an official race, sometimes it's not, you know, but we tried our hardest to make it an official race. Sometimes it meant that we would have to do 2 races within 1 month because the race calendar might not match up.
Really work like that, yeah.
Yeah, so you feel like you're tapering down, but you're going straight into our next marathon, right?
Yeah.
So I got to month, where did I get to? 10. I got to month 10, Royal Parks, yeah?
Yeah.
And I got injured.
Oh, yeah.
And to be honest to myself and to you, I fell into a bit of a dark place because I was like, oh my God, I have let down Alex, her parents, people who
the like, expectations that was around it, innit?
Yeah, I've let down myself, everything, you know, and then I only had 2 months to go, only 2 more half marathons to go, right?
Yeah.
So I fell into a bit of a dark place, you know. I started smoking lots of weed, eating lots of Morley's, fried chicken, everything, yeah. And then honestly, started feeling sorry for myself. It happens. Yeah. And then, you know, as the new year turned over and everyone says, I'm going to make a change or whatever, I was kind of one of those people, but it wasn't an immediate change. It wasn't like the 1st of the 1st, 2013. No, it was like, I remember the date specifically. It was like January 21st. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So I went and seeked medical advice, and they kind of referred me to the physiotherapist. Kind of done rounds of physiotherapy, got an injection of money, all of this stuff. And then there's the physio who said, "Okay, Peigh, you are gonna go and have to swim to help the rehabilitation." And I said, "Huh? Swim?" Honestly, I was like, you must be joking. I don't know how to swim.
At that point, there was no group like you.
There was nothing. There was nothing. There's no group that existed, right?
Yeah.
And then when he said that to me, I was like, okay, do you know what, Peigh? My desire to get fit and run again was so strong. I was like, I'll do whatever it takes. I'll do whatever it takes. So I just literally went to my local pool in Forest Hill, and excuse the pun here, but I chucked myself in at the deep end, right? And I taught myself to swim. I was just in there. It became an obsession of mine. I was in there every single day. I was even having dates, with girls, and they were like, "Oh, Peigh, want to hang out or whatever?" And I said, "You have to meet me at the pool." I said, "Listen, you got to meet me at the pool." On it, listen, hand on the heart, hand on the heart. This was it, because I was so obsessed with swimming, right?
And if it wasn't fitting them, then it can't fit you.
It can't fit me, right? My focus was swimming. And my body was changing. I was losing weight. I was getting fitter because I was doing a little bit of boxing training with it, right? And then, I don't know, I just got confident in the water, and I was like, I'm going to try triathlon, you know? I had never been in open water before, by the way, yeah?
Yeah.
I was just like, fuck it, I'll do it. Sorry to swear. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. So in doing that, I cycled from where I live in South London to Hackney, London Fields Lido. I would cycle there, swim there, and then cycle home. As I was doing that, I was seeing Nathaniel, Emily swimming. I was like, hold on a minute. Yo, you lot swim as well.
Faces, yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, listen, at my local pool, all I was seeing was mums and babies and over 60s. That was it. I wasn't seeing nobody like me in that water. No way. So when I saw Nathaniel and Emily, I was like, okay, cool. Let's just start swimming together. So we started swimming together, just us three, in London Fields Lido, and we'd go to Emily's house, eat some food, fall asleep on her couch. Routine. That was it, right? But as I said, Run Dem was such a big part of our life. Anytime I would go swimming, I would just like, I think them times it was like Twitter times or maybe early Insta. I would just like, hashtag Swim Dem Crew. You know what I mean? Like just,
Sick.
I would give anything the moniker of Dem Crew. It could have been wine. It could have been coffee. I would just would have been Wine Dem Crew, Coffee Dem Crew, whatever, right?
I think that group was the first like
offshoot. It was the first offshoot, right? So
for
me, it was just like, it was just about just showing our appreciation for that. And then it was actually, I'll be completely transparent and open with you. It was Emily who said, let's actually make it a big thing. Let's make it a thing. Let's make it a real thing. Because I was like, nah, you know, I'm a shit swimmer at the end of the day. Those two can swim. I taught myself. So I was like, I don't want to make a fuss. I'm happy with swimming in this lane with my two friends, going to their house, eating some food and falling asleep on the sofa. I'm happy with that. But I'm so glad that she did. I twisted our arm because, yeah, as you say, it's gone on to be this amazing community, global community.
It's been so crazy. Honestly, I could talk about Swim Dem for hours and hours, to be honest. The impact that had on me alone, not let alone like everybody else that's part of it currently or has been part of it. Like, yeah, we did this whole thing where we was working with AO and you taught like a group of 16 to swim and it's just the impact is unreal. What I would like to do right now is go into the whole New Brand Flex thing. And like, I don't really know too much about this story. And I would love to know, like, as a young man getting together with your friends, how did New Brand Flex come about? And what was the goal at the beginning? Like, was it just friends? What happened there? What made you go for it?
Wow. Okay. New Brand Flex. Okay. So first of all, we all used to MC and spit in our areas, right? So I grew up in a place called Charlton on Cherry Orchard Estate, and then so first of all, so it was the three of us that connected first.
For people that might not know, what's an MC, just in case anyone
MC. So an MC is essentially a rapper, you know, it's a rapper. But I think for us in UK, we call it an MC because you're the mic controller. You know, you're first. It started with you're just hosting the rave in the garage rave, just hosting it, keeping the vibes bubbling, and then it kind of developed into people writing their own lyrics and then songs or whatever, right? So it started as us being MCs in our own areas, in our own estates or whatever, and then there was a festival, right, called Anti-Racist Festival. And I was quite popular on my estate, and so I just came with my whole estate. I spat, you know, everyone went crazy.
Shut it down.
Then, and then I think, who was it? I think it was Boyle, someone spat. But they didn't really, because they were on their own, it weren't the same reaction. But I felt it. I was like, nah, that is sick. So I went and said, bro, that's sick. So we connected like that. And then we would go to house parties and spit, everything like that. So before we was even New Brand Flex, we just used to spit together, right? And it was actually Sass's mum, so Sass Killer, his mum heard a advert on the radio on Deja Vu, Deja Vu FM, which is famous radio station. Like, you know, if you've ever seen that clip of Dizzy beefing Crazy Titch.
Definitely, yeah.
It's from
iconic for grime.
Iconic grime, right?
Yeah.
And New Brand Flex actually used to be DJs. It just used to be two DJs. And they used to spell it the correct way of spelling New Brand Flex. So New Brand Flex,
Okay.
And they had done an old garage song, Roses Are Red, Ooh, Violets.
Okay.
So they had,
you need to send me 100%.
they had success with that, and then they had a success with Eskimo Free. So Wiley Eskimo, they made Eskimo Free.
The Eskimo dance.
Yeah, they were just DJs and producers, but they were looking for MCs. So they put a call out on radio. Sass's mum heard it. Sass's mum was like, yo, because she was always like our supporter. You boys, you need to do this, man. You need to do this. So we were like, okay. So yeah, we did it. We went and linked Richie Montana, who I'm still, you know, we're all still close with. He's an amazing guy. He's gone on to do amazing stuff with Tiny Temper and Nana Rose and all these people, and so, Richie literally put us in the back of his car and took us all around East London and made us clash people to see if we were worthy to be in his crew, He just took us around and made us clash. And then, as soon as we kind of took that on, we just kind of rebranded it and changed the NEW to NU. And then the FLEX Flex, we put 3X's, triple X, you know what I mean?
Because there's 3 of you at that point, isn't it?
And so that was the early beginnings of New Brand Flex. And to be honest, we didn't really have a goal. Our goal was just to get heard. You know, it was just get heard. as many people can hear you, go on pirate radio station, make a mixtape, let many people hear you, and then it transformed to get seen. You know, from get heard to get seen. So that's when the videos came in, like Anthem, Gash by the Hour, Pussy Fat,
Yeah,
these videos,
massive songs. Like,
yeah.
I remember being in secondary school and hearing those songs, but then obviously meeting you, I wasn't aware that that's the P is, you know, New Brand Flex. And then luckily I was able to, you know you as a person, and then slowly figure out the things that you've done in the past, and the impact that that group has had on like old school grime is amazing.
Yeah.
So what I would like to do right now is talk about how the return came about, and you ending up as a solo artist after that. I'd like to say what made you guys think, yo, let's return? What was the right time? And you know, you dropped some songs and they were bangers and they were well received, but in the end you ended up going solo as well and dropping your P styles. What was the return idea, and what made you want to go solo and see what you can do by yourself?
Do you know what? Great question. I think in terms of the return, it's just like, I guess to the outside world, it felt like a return, but for us, it was just like, because we're mates, you know, we've been mates since 15, 16 years old. So we've always hung out with each other. So we're always just like making music, hanging out, just kicking it, you know? It just means that we might not put it out because there might not be any rollout or strategy or anything like that. That's why sometimes you just might see sporadic tunes from New Brand. There's no like campaign behind it, because it's like, we're just mates hanging out, and we might be in the studio and go, oh, just put it out, like sort of thing, right?
Do you think it's more special to keep it for you guys, or do you enjoy bringing it out for everybody else?
Yeah, no, I think it's good to get it out, because it's good to just see how it connects with people, right? And I think one of the reasons for the return is that we did Lovebox. We performed at Lovebox.
That was like amazing as well.
We got booked for Lovebox, and it was like, oh, okay. We don't want it to just be a totally nostalgic show. You know, we know that the old songs are going to do great, but it was like, okay, maybe we should work on some new material as well, you know? So that was kind of the thinking behind that. And then the thinking behind me going solo was just because I'd never done anything like that before, you know? I think it's an interesting thing, because it wasn't a conscious decision, if I'm being completely honest, you know? So I work in advertising as a day job, right? And I'm freelance. But at that time, before the Peigh Styles, I was working full time in an ad agency, right? And I'd stopped music, I'd stopped doing everything. And I was just like, I'm just going to be a high flying ad man, and I'm going to go all the way to the top of the ad agency and write great ads, and that will be my life.
Yeah.
And then I got made redundant, and you know, and kind of the rug was pulled from under me. And then it was another moment of, okay, self-discovery again, right? It was like, okay, this thing ain't working out. I'm sure you can see a pattern here. A moment of crisis happens, and I'm like, I look around, like, okay, well, who's P? What do you like doing? What is your thing? So what happened was that year, I just changed my life again. You know, I lost 4 stone that year. I stopped drinking alcohol for 2.5 years. And then I started to do things that I enjoyed doing, and music was one of them. But I didn't want to like put pressure on myself to just jump in and start making music. I was just like, I'm just going to write bars, freestyle on Instagram, and see where it takes me. You know?
Sure, yeah.
And then that's what I did. I started the Peigh Style series, and then
what is a Peigh Style? What is that, bro?
A Peigh Style for me is just essentially just a freestyle. I'm just reinterpreting other people's songs on their beats and seeing what my version of that, or my adaptation of that would be, right?
Yeah.
And that started picking up a little bit of traction. People started liking it. I was like, okay. So I got my confidence up a bit. So then I started going into the studio and then making songs. And I think the first song that came out was Answering Phone, right? And then, I just kind of followed that up with an EP. So yeah, that's kind of that. Sorry, that was a bit of a long answer.
No, I loved it. I loved it, every second of it.
Yeah.
But the EP, what was your favorite song on it? And was you expecting anything from it, or, you know, was you just, let me put it out there and see what people are thinking and take it from there?
Yeah, I think, listen, I think I'm in a way, the P kind of stands for pessimist in a way. Not in a bad way.
Deep, yeah.
No, sorry, that was quite deep. But
no, I loved it. Yeah.
The reason I say that is because I kind of go into things with no expectations. That way, you don't find yourself. What's the word I want to say?
You don't get let down in a way.
Yeah, exactly, right. So I didn't really go into it with any expectations. Of course, it's a bit of your art, a bit of yourself. You're putting yourself out there. Yeah, there's a level of vulnerability that comes with that. So obviously, you hope that it connects with somebody somewhere and somebody likes it, you know. And in answer to a question, my favorite song is probably gonna have to be "You Don't." And the reason why I would say "You Don't" is my favorite song is because it was actually the first song I made for the EP.
Okay.
Before I even knew I was going to make an EP. So
Was that the intention setting song?
What
you know what I mean? Like, was that the intention setting song? Was that the?
Yeah, well, it was in a way, because the thing is, when I wrote "You Don't," I was like, okay, I'm going to write a project, right? But you know, if you listen to "You Don't," it's kind of like jazzy. It's like jazzy, like rap. You know, it's not really grime or anything. So I was like, okay, that's gonna kind of shape my direction of my EP. Then I was in the studio with Sass, and he was like, P, this song's good, yeah, but you can't just come and open with this song, innit? You've been away for a minute, like you've never really come as that I'm P, the intro guy, innit? Like P as a solo. You can't just come with this soft thing. You gotta come hard, yeah? So then that's when I wrote Answering Phone, and we wrote that. I was in the studio and recorded it like 3 a.m. in the morning. Yeah. So I was like, oh shit, okay, 6. And then I came with Answering Phone. But for me, my favorite song is "You Don't," just because I feel like it was me at my most vulnerable on that tape, you know, on that project. I think, you know, talking about my ex-girl, leaving the country and how it made me feel, all of that stuff. It was me opening up myself to the world.
It was, this is P, this is me. I love it.
Exactly, where I feel like Answering Phone was just energy and hype. Great. And if you think about it, the 2 lines in Answering Phone that connect with everybody so much are "Didn't have to rush for the train at Canada Water" and "Yaya, my goddaughter." You know, and those are 2 lines that again give you a window into my personal life. You know, like life was great, and I was a published artist, and cars would come and pick me up from my house. But then when that wasn't and I didn't have to rush for the train at Canada Water, but that's no longer a reality now, and I have to get the train. You know, and you just don't know what could happen in life. And my best friend's had a baby, all of this stuff. So I think those 2 moments of just a window into my life are the 2 lines that connect with people the most. So yeah, I think for that reason, "You Don't." Yeah.
Amazing. Before we end quickly, I would like to go into Trap Fruits London very quickly, if we can, just touch on it a bit.
Yeah.
The idea of a fruit, vegetable type of thing, can we go into that a little bit? Like, what was the thought process behind that, and what made you go into that?
Yeah.
And yeah.
Brilliant. So Trap Fruits London is a fruit delivery company. We deliver fruit across all of London, yeah? Fresh fruit straight to your doorstep. And again, I think, much like most of the things I do in life, I never really set out with the intention of, oh, I'm going to start this community, I'm going to start this business, I'm going to start this thing. No, I just do things that I like personally. So I just liked to swim, and then it manifests itself into a thing, right? It just so happens that I become a little bit obsessed with things. You know, I've got a bit of an obsessive thing, and I become obsessed and enthusiastic about certain stuff.
Passionate, yeah.
Passionate, exactly. And one of those things just happened to be fruit, and one fruit in particular, a custard apple. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it all connects to everything, you know, because in the lead up to my show at the Old Blue Last, for those 3 months in the lead up to it, I was vegan. I was practicing veganism. So I was sober, I was teetotal, and I was vegan, because I was like, okay, P, this is your first ever show. You want to give yourself the best chance possible at performing.
You need to reconnect with you. Who's you?
Reconnect with you. Be fit. Be everything. Reconnect, right? So in doing that veganism, I was discovering produce, fruit, vegetables. I discovered the custard apple. And then, listen, that same week, yeah, as my show, we got flown to Jamaica. And when I say we, I mean myself and Nathaniel.
You met Usain Bolt.
Yeah, we went to Jamaica to do a job with Puma and Usain Bolt. Yeah. So I'm still vegan, and I'm tasting all of these. I mean, I broke my veganism in Jamaica, by the way.
How could you not, though? Come on.
I know. I ate the fish. I saw the fisherman catching the fish. I was like, I need to eat that snapper, man. You know what I mean? So, wow. But the reason why I mentioned all of this is because I tasted more fruit and stuff in Jamaica, and I was like, yo, what is this fruit? I need this when I get back to the UK.
It's not available here, is it?
Huh? No, you can get it now, but you got to go to certain places. So
Yeah.
I came and I was in search for that custard apple. I was like, where is it? Where is it? Where is
I
it?
never had that, bro.
I'm going to get it to you. Don't worry. I'm going to get you a box. Don't worry. Send me your address. And then I found it. I found it in Peckham. Yeah. But it was like a £5 for one fruit.
Oh,
yeah?
wow.
Yeah, but I was buying it. Don't get it twisted. Because I was addicted. So I was buying it. But listen to this, Kai. I was buying it and gifting it to people. Because I wanted people to
share that
and experience what I experienced. So I was buying it and giving it to people. I was like in Swim Dem, we were going on a retreat, and I'll say, look, here, I'll take this fruit, take this. I was giving it to people. And then my friend said to me, P, you're crazy, man. Why are you buying fruit? £5 for one.
£5, yeah.
Yeah. I said, fam, because it's nice, innit? It's nice. Otherwise, I'll probably spend it on like chocolate and shit like that, like snacking. And then he said, okay, P, I'm going to take you to the market so you can buy a crate of it. If you like it that much, like buy a crate. Don't just buy a £5 for one, innit? Buy a crate. So he took me to the market. Obviously, we're in the market, we're chatting shit, you know, we're being silly, snapping, Instagramming. And yeah, friends were like, oh, pick me up this, pick me up that, can you get me this? And the rest is history. It just kind of
manifested itself, bro.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so amazing. We're going to go into the final question very quickly. Let's just use our manifesting skills right now. Let's say one day 1 million people is going to watch this. What would you like to say to the millions to inspire them? That is my final question. This is your time to talk to the millions, Pete.
Right, okay. So my thing to the millions of people, I would say 2 things. Do your thing. First of all, take that step. Take that step, do your thing, okay? And why I say that?
Too scared to take that step, bro.
Well, this is it. The reason I say that is because a lot of people are scared to take that step. A lot of people are scared and they get plagued and submissioned with fear that they don't even try. But guess what? In trying and failing loads of times, you get to understand and go, okay, well, actually that didn't work, but so I'm going to go that way, right? So my life motto actually is learn by doing. And everything I've done in my life up until now, I've just chucked myself in it and let experience lead the way. Every single thing. I'm not one to sit down, strategize and all of that, because guess what? If I do that, I'll probably talk myself out of it. And that's what everyone else does, right? They talk themselves out of it. It's like going to the gym or whatever. You wake up in the morning, your alarm goes off 6 a.m. You're like, oh, you can kind of talk yourself out of it.
Yeah, doubt set in, yeah.
Yeah, but then you've got to quickly get up before that doubt even gets in. Quickly get up, splash your face and get out the door. Before you know it, you're out the door. It's too late. You're already in it.
Through, yeah, exactly.
That's it. And that's kind of how I live my life. And that's how I've lived my life all the way up until now.
Inspiring, bro. I love it so much. That's the end of the interview, bro. If we want to do something very quickly, we could do 3, 2, 1. Talk to the millions, bro, and we're done.
Okay.
Yeah? 3, 2, 1. Talk to
the millions. Come on.
Me today, my guy.
Yes,
I appreciate you so much, bro. For all the links that we've discussed today, please check the description down below.